who to start. Running back, man, it's a tough position, but I'm glad you clicked on this video because we're going to take a look at all the favorable and all the unfavorable matchups. Which running backs should you start here in week 5? But before that, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content and become a bro and subscribe. I do these weekly. Matter of fact, I got a lot of draft content on the channel as well if you're interested in that. NFL draft talent or content, that is. And speaking of that, I got a 7-round mock draft coming out in 2 weeks, so be around for that. It's gonna be fun. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about the Thursday night game. We got the Rams. We got the Seahawks. Todd Gurley, you almost have to start him wherever. Probably because of where you drafted him, you have to start him. You're in a position where you got to. Sean McVay, he said this last week that he wants to get Gurley more involved in the pass game. He had 2 receptions this past week, and they had to go away from the run because the Buccaneers just unloaded offensively for some reason. I don't know. Maybe a snowflake dropped in hell somewhere. But I think he should be a start this week. Granted, Seattle, they're 15th against opposing running backs. Chris Carson, he seems to be back in the good graces. He faces a team that's not great at stopping the run. They're 25th. So I think he's a good start, especially if Rashad Penny isn't good to go this week. And that's why I have Penny as a sit, because his hamstring, will he be active? And even if he is active, what will his workload look like? I'm not confident in that. Malcolm Brown hasn't been relevant since week 1. He's averaged 5 touches through the last 3 games, so that's irrelevant. He's irrelevant, unfortunately. Hopefully you dropped him. Now let's talk about the Cardinals versus the Bengals. Joe Mixon, finally looking a lot more like Joe Mixon. Go ahead and start him against the 18th worst defense when it comes to stopping opposing running backs. David Johnson, luckily they're facing the Bengals. He's a start. He has 14 receptions in the last 2 games. I like that. I like that a lot. And I mean, Giovanni Bernard, he had 1 touch last game, irrelevant. Chase Edmonds Chase Edmonds, you could find better starts. Now let's talk about the Bills versus the Titans. I got Frank Gore as a start. It's a tough defense. They're 12th against opposing running backs. But I would probably want to monitor if Singletary is still hurt. Because as far as upside, or at least the upside of opportunity, if Singletary is hurt, we know Gore is going to get all of that workload, especially if Barkley's starting at quarterback. They're going to be running the ball a lot. I like Gore in this matchup just because he will have opportunity. Derrick Henry, they're facing a Bills defense pretty good. They're better against the pass than the run. They rank 19th. But he's probably their only source of offense, and he averages almost 20 carries a game. Sign me up. Now, sits, I got Dion Lewis. He saw 8 touches last game and amounted to 4 points in half PPR leagues. So I'm done. Don't need to talk about that anymore. Singletary, even if he's healthy, they don't really give him an opportunity to score points. So let's move on. We're going to talk about the Bears versus the Raiders. David Montgomery with Chase Daniel at quarterback. He's going to get a hefty workload. I think he's going to be in the range of 20 carries. He saw 21 last game. They're facing the Raiders. They're 14th against opposing running backs, so they're actually pretty not bad. But like I said, they're going to run the ball a lot. David Mopportunity. That's what the footballers call him. Josh Jacobs facing the Bears. Oh, I'm getting all choked up talking about this. Bears are 5th. They're 5th against opposing running backs. Why would I start him? Workload. He gets a huge workload, and it warrants flex consideration. I think he's a good flex option. As far as sit, I don't think there's anyone irrelevant for the Raiders this week. And Tariq Cohen, really, it was just a touchdown last week that saved his fantasy output. He only had 7 touches, and that was even when they were forced to run the ball a ton against the Vikings last week. Saints versus the Buccaneers, man. Interesting. Alvin Kamara. You probably drafted him somewhere in that 1 to 4 range. He's starting, but he's seen a lot of touches. Saw 20 in the last game, and Latavius Murray ain't eating that workload. That's why I got that boy as a sit. And I got everyone else as a sit in this game. You got Ronald Jones. You got Peyton Barber. We saw what the Saints run defense, what they did to Zeke. Ronald Jones, Peyton Barber are not Zeke. That's a mic drop right there. I just dropped the mic. I ain't gonna drop my mic though. That's cost too much money. The Jets versus the Eagles. Le'Veon Bell, he's facing the 4th best defense when it comes to opposing running backs, but he has seen 22 touches or more in every game. That warrants a start. I like Jordan Howard. I like Miles Sanders. They're facing with a 21st worst defense when it comes to opposing running backs. They're split. It's a split workload, but they're seeing a hefty amount of carries. Howard had 15 to Miles Sanders' 11. They really just go with a hot hand, so I find no problem in this. I think this game will be a run-heavy game. Now we got Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. Man, I put James Conner and Jalen Samuels both as starts this week just because look at all the opportunities they got. They're facing the 25th worst defense when it comes to opposing running backs. And that really depends if Brandon Williams is going to be playing. That's one of their best run defenders there in Baltimore. But they literally split everything against the Bengals. Both saw 10 rushes. Both saw 8 catches. Sign me up. I think Jalen Samuels will be the bigger playmaker going forward, though. Mark Ingram, man, he's been getting a heavy workload. He's a start. The Steelers ain't stopping nobody on the ground. Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, they ain't really doing much this year. They don't get enough opportunity to warrant even a consideration. Let's talk about the Patriots. Let's talk about the Redskins. We're not going to talk too much about the Redskins. Patriots are second against opposing running backs. Adrian Peterson hasn't looked good. Chris Thompson's really only his viability comes as a pass catcher. I'm not cool with either of that. I also got Rex Burkhead. It seems like now that James White is back in the lineup, he's kind of without a role. He only saw one touch last game against the Bills. Speaking of James White, he's a start. He had 8 receptions last game. I like that. And Sony Michel, he got all of the carries. He had like 17 carries. The Redskins are 23rd when it comes to stopping the run. Yeah, I like Sony Michel this week. We got the Jaguars. We got the Panthers. Both starting running backs. There should be starts for you. Christian McCaffrey is ridiculous. He's seen already 111 touches this year between catching and running the football. Leonard Fournette, they're feeding him, man. That last game, wow. I know the Panthers, they're 16th. They're middle of the pack when it comes to stopping the run or letting the run happen. So I like him in this matchup. I think he'll definitely see that. He'll see like 15 to 20 touches, and they've been using him as a passer a lot more, which is very exciting. Raquel Armstead, I put him in here because he had a decent week last week as well, but it was really just a touchdown that made his production. We got the Falcons. We have the Texans. Devontae Freeman, man, you gotta quit burning me, my dude. He's been really bad this year, and this is what it is. The Falcons continue to try to run the ball despite the lack of production. I think Freeman will get the opportunity. They're facing the 21st worst defense when it comes to running backs. I think he's a start, but I mean, if he does pretty bad this game, then I don't know if we could start him much after that. Carlos Hyde, facing the 13th best team when it comes to opposing running backs. Now, he's seen more carries, and matter of fact, he saw more receptions last week than Duke Johnson. I don't think Carlos Hyde's not that productive, but he's a solid flex or running back 3 option. Ito Smith, touchdown dependent, only had 3 touches. He's a sit. Duke Johnson, despite the better production, he's still clearly the number 2. I don't like it. He is a sit. Broncos versus the Chargers. Austin Eckler, Melvin Gordon. It's really hard to bench Austin Eckler. He has been a monster for the Chargers. But, man, we really don't know what the workload is going to look like for Melvin Gordon coming back. He's a risky start, but I don't mind. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind throwing him in my starting lineup and seeing, especially if they go back to him as a full-time starter. I don't think that'll be the case. Austin Eckler, I think they will stick with him, especially against the Broncos. They're really bad against opposing running backs. Oh man, Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman, they're sits. They're facing a really tough Charger defense. They're really good against the run. They're still split. They're still splitting carries, and I mean, man, they will, if this game starts to get away from them, they'll give up on the run like that, just like last week. So I don't trust it. Packers versus Cowboys. I don't think Jamal Williams will play this week. He would be a sit regardless. It's more so how much production would he take away from Aaron Jones. They face a really tough task in trying to take on Dallas this week. They're really good against the run, but Aaron Jones, he saw 6 receptions last week, so you have that upside there. And it's Ezekiel Elliott. He's facing the 30th team when it comes to stopping the running back. Yeah, you're starting. I don't know why we're talking about this. You're starting Elliott. Colts versus the Chiefs Sunday night. I can't wait. That's a good Sunday night game. I got a lot of people that starts in this game. Let's go over it. If Marlon Mack is healthy, you will start him. The Chiefs aren't good against the run. Only if he's healthy. Jordan Wilkins. You only start him if Mack is not healthy and is not a go. If he is out for this game, I expect Wilkins, he will be the running back. Because we know Nyheim Hines, he's more of that pass catcher. As far as Nyheim Hines, he has the receiving upside, but he'll still see some carries there if Mack is out. He is a start if Mack is out. Those two guys are only starts if Marlon Mack is out. LaShawn McCoy, he is the main back essentially there in KC. They face the 20th worst team when it comes to stopping the run. Darrell Williams, I have his start only if Damian Williams does not play. If Damian is healthy, I won't even risk Darrell Williams. I would keep him on the bench, keep him on your roster, and kind of just go with the wait and see approach. And I got Damian Williams as a sit because even if he returns this week, will he come back to the normal usage? That's my only question. Put him on the bench, wait and see. And the Monday night game, Browns versus the 49ers. Nick Chubb is on fire. Granted, he's facing one of the toughest defenses when it comes to stopping the run, but they're going to be relying on the run heavily in this game. I like Nick Chubb. Matt Breida, I mean, he's guaranteed his share in that offense. They're facing a pretty decent defense when it comes to the run, but he will get his. And for sits, I got Dontrell Hilliard. He's touchdown dependent. And then Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman. It really depends on if Tevin Coleman is healthy. I still don't think I'd start either. I would kind of wait. So kind of like the same thing you got with Damian and Darrell Williams. If Coleman is healthy, you kind of want to wait and see. And Mostert, if Coleman's healthy, then he kind of loses his role. That's it for the video. Hopefully I was able to help narrow down a few options. But good luck this week. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.